Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Iceman and Bob. I will have to make this announcement multiple times throughout this video just to remind people that this is an unofficial test. I repeat, this is an unofficial test. So please don't go into the comment section saying, hey, Iceman, you didn't actually properly use the right equipment to do this test. Again, this is an unofficial test. So what test are we doing here? This is the Samsung S95B, and many people have said that after the firmware update 12.11, that in Filmmaker Mode, the brightness dropped down from 1500 nits down to just over 1000 nits. And that's in terms of highlights. Obviously, the 1500 nit thing is not sustained and fulfilled. It's just the highlights that hit that. What I'm seeing, according to this unofficial test, is that we're still hitting those nit levels and more. So I'm going to show you all first that we are here in Filmmaker Mode. Okay, this is going to be first an SDR test, then we will do an HDR test as well. And I will even have a comparison where it won't be side by side, but you will see, I will test one of my brightest Sony TVs, okay, one of my Sony LCD TVs as well, just so you can see the brightness of this S95B in Filmmaker Mode and a few other modes as well. So I'm going to go quickly here and show you all right, that I am running 12.11 in terms of the firmware, so no one can say, oh, you're on a different firmware. I do all of these tests in real time, so no one can say that I'm rigging or doing anything, okay? So here we go, let's back up. And again, you see we're in Filmmaker Mode. So I'm going to walk up to the screen and I'm gonna hit play and we're gonna start seeing the nits of brightness. So right off the bat here, you see we're at 328. In SDR, usually you'll get around 600, give or take. Now, please keep in mind there is a panel variance. Okay, so you may encounter more. So I'm gonna unpause this and let this play. Get that off the screen. And we'll just see what we're getting here in SDR. Okay, look, 600. There's the devil number, but we're hitting that 600. Hit 729 here. It just depends on where we're going and what we're highlighting. This is a nighttime scene, so you don't need much. That's 75, 12, 8, you can see here. And then see how the brightness jumps up here. Now I know full field, 200 to 600, it just depends if it's SDR or HDR is what you can generally expect. But I want you all to kind of see the brightness here in SDR is within spec so far. Okay, there we go. Where it seems to be capping out at the devil number at 666, y'all. That's also a spiritual number, but that's another conversation for another day. Let's see what we're getting here. See, again, we seem to be, I saw 8 for a second. Might have just been because I was moving it around. Now again, I know this is an unofficial test. Here we go, see 835. We had 7, just depending on the highlights. Obviously this is 0 as it's supposed to be. It's a completely dark area that we're testing. Okay, I just want you all to kind of see this in SDR. All right, this is within spec. Please keep in mind, this is SDR, not HDR. You will see these numbers jump up when we go to HDR content, okay? So what I'm going to do now, first, before I do that, let me run this back. I'll pause it, and we're going to switch the modes, okay? We'll run through the modes very quickly. So this is dynamic, this is vivid mode, all right? Right off the bat, okay, you see still where it is in vivid mode. All right, in SDR, still hitting that 6, but I'll go ahead and let it play. Okay, there we go. Look at that in vivid mode. 1500, 1600, 1638 in the clouds up there. Okay, but most of it, see 9, most of it's sitting around at 600. Okay, look at this 216, 3s, and a nighttime scene 4. Look at the difference. Okay, look at this 9, 1200, 1300, 1408. All right, let's go into, let's run it back again. Let's change the mode again. I don't want to make this video too long. I just want you all to kind of get an idea. Now, we're going to run it in standard, and then I will also do it in movie, okay? So let's just go ahead and hit play. Okay, so we're still 600. Standard mode is kind of sticking around the same as Filmmaker 100 here. Again, it just depends on the window that we're looking at. Standard looks very similar to Filmmaker mode, just a little bit brighter, but I mean, you're talking about 50 nits or so. Let's come over here where it was bright. Again, seems to be capping off around 6. So it's trying to basically keep the brightness tracking. Now, obviously dynamic, it is vivid, it's whatever with that mode. But standard here seems to be within spec as well. Seems pretty tame. So I will say that's something you could take a look at if you like standard. Okay, and let's change the mode here to movie. All right, and it is said movie mode is brighter than Filmmaker mode. Let's see what we're getting now. Obviously that was completely black. Okay, so yes, it is. Look, 9s. We're hitting 914. Look at that. 5 and 6. It's holding. It's holding and peaking better. But that's still within spec here. So movie mode gives you that little extra bit of brightness. Let's see what we're getting here in the clouds. Yeah, 8s. But it's still holding at 6. 933 is the highest here. Okay, 45, just slightly brighter. Slightly brighter than Filmmaker mode. We're gonna do this. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here and then switch it to Filmmaker mode. Again, real time. This is a real time test. So you see full field. Okay, we're hitting 5, 6, 87 in that highlight right there. Hitting 5 and 6. So it's within spec here. I'm gonna pause it, let you all see that we are still in Filmmaker mode, and I want you all to see that this is HDR. I didn't do this for the SDR video, but you just have to take my word for it. Okay, see? So HDR, obviously you see it say HDR up here on the screen. So let's take a look at that in Filmmaker mode. Okay, now HDR, we should be shattering the SDR nit records. Okay, so let's see what we're getting here. Let's look at this sun. Look at that. 1800, 17. See, it's dropping as the sun was setting. And look at the sun. Look at it. 2952. That's insane, y'all. 16, 15. Look at that. About these highlights right here with the sun. 21 and 22. Look at this. 2169. Let's come down here and then 200. Look at that. 3006. Now, again, I know this is an unofficial test, but I want you all to see in HDR. Look at that. 3100. That's insane. 14. So you're getting crazy brightness. Let's see if I can capture that sun. Look at that. 21. It hit 21 before it went behind the buildings. And let's get this. Look at this. 3031. That's crazy, y'all. This is in Filmmaker mode. Okay, that's what's crazy. So let's run this back. Let's switch through the modes very quickly. pause it here. That's in Filmmaker mode. So let's go into dynamic, okay, which is vivid mode, okay? And let's see what we're gonna get here. 17, 18, so about the same, and it's dropping as the sun is setting. Now what about here? 2754 was the peak. So 413 average, 5, okay? So you see everything else is pretty tame. Look at this. 18, what are we getting up here? 24, that's crazy. Now, I know we don't watch TV in Vivid. I will say, as others have said, there is some content in Vivid that does look good. Okay, 27. 996, almost 1,000 there. Look at this, let's see what we're getting here. 11, it's kind of hard to capture that. 15, 16, what are we getting here? 18. So it's crazy, y'all. This is in vivid mode, in HDR. Look at that. 18, like almost 1900, it was 1899. So I'm gonna be fair and run this back and put this also in the other modes just to be fair. And then you will see a comparison of the S95B's brightness. So again, you see it says HDR down there. As I mentioned, we're in HDR. The previous video was SDR. And I will have a portion of the video after this comparing this S95B's brightness to my bright Sony LCD TV. This is my Sony LCD TV. I am showing you a brightness test again. This is an unofficial test. I must stress that so that people don't go in the comment section saying, hey Iceman, this isn't an official test. I get it. This is an unofficial test, but this is my channel and I can release content as I please. So this is one of my Sony LCD TVs. It's one of the brightest TVs that you can get in terms of comparison to OLED. And I want to show you all the particular mode that we're in here. Okay, I have it in custom as it's the most accurate mode that I have here, or at least one of the two. That's another conversation for another day, as I always say. But in any case, I just want you all to see that this is an SDR video. So let me go ahead and play the video, and I will go ahead and put this up here just so that you all can kind of see SDR. I mean, it's within spec. Obviously, if you look here, it's 0 because this is a completely black part here of the building that I'm highlighting. And so overall, we're averaging here around the 2s, it might hit 3s. This is definitely within spec, but I'm gonna play a portion of this, okay? And again, this is SDR content. I don't know what I just hit. So 413 there. We're averaging between high 2s and 3s. Say we're getting down depending on what we're doing. Okay, what windows we're highlighting here. Obviously, this is a nighttime scene, so it's not going to register much. Let's see what we're getting up here in the clouds. 286, 307 is the peak. Okay, so you all are seeing here, I got 75 there in one of the highlights. So you all are seeing here, it's not really that bright in custom mode, but however, it is definitely accurate. I will change up the mode and then I will go to HDR content. Again, this is just for comparison, okay? So I'm gonna go to standard. You see that it already, just look at the difference. So we're having it custom, right? I'm gonna put this to standard. See how it jumped up right there to 6? Okay, the devil number, 666. Look, 835 in standard mode. Do y'all see that? And look, let me put it in custom. Y'all see that? Okay, but everyone wants everything accurate, even though we know a lot of people off camera or in their home environments, they change these modes all day long. Okay, so you see the brightness difference. 835. Let's put it in vivid. Look at that, over 1,000. This is SDR. Now, there are, look, 1,200. Very little content actually looks good like this. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to play it very quickly here in standard. And I'll play it very quickly in vivid. And then we will go to, get that off the screen. Okay, so again, here we're in standard. Look at that, 1,000. How's that for your SDR brightness? Look at that, 497. 715. Plenty bright. Okay, and even the nighttime scenes, we're at 68. In custom, we couldn't really, hit 30 or 50 at best. Let's see what this window jumps up to. Look at that, 1,000. Again, this is SDR content. Y'all see that? And very quickly, I'm going to run it back again, and we will take a look at this in vivid, okay? Just want you all to see what's really going on. Again, there are some nature videos that look good in vivid. Again, it's extremely limited content that actually looks good in vivid. But however, we're doing this just for comparison's sake. So look at that, 800s, 12, 1600. Look at that, 1638 with the clouds. 15. Okay, 6 something in here, 1,000. This is vivid mode now. Look at that, 99, over 100, 126, 160. Look at that, 2 something. I had got 270. Let's see what the clouds do over here. 1257. I saw 13 at one spot there. So I just want you all to see, okay, now this is vivid. Again, we generally do not watch any content in vivid. There may be only a very small window of content that we will watch in vivid. So I'm going to put it back into custom. All right. So let's see what the sun is getting. Look, 8 or 1,000. Okay, let's see what this peaks up to. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So we got up to like 1,900. Then it drops down to just around 100, 200. What are this? Look at that, 1606. Whoa, 2,000. 1611. Okay. Again, these are the highlights. 2,000. Okay, so you see the S95B is hitting these numbers and more. All right. That's crazy. That's crazy. So we're going to run this video back. We're going to change the modes. Again, I just want you all to see in comparison, because as we know, LCD, LED TVs are definitely way brighter for the most part than OLED TVs. And I know the S95B is a QD-OLED, but still way brighter. Okay, so I just put this in standard. Let me show you. Look, watch this. Let's put this in custom. Let's switch it to standard. Okay, custom, standard. Only a little bit, and then look, let's kick it up to vivid. Now you see how much brighter vivid jumps like 200 nits. Okay, so let's put this back in standard. Let's let it play a little bit. I'm gonna run it back to the very beginning. Let's see what we get here. 800s in standard. Oh, yep, it dropped from 800. What are we gonna hit here with the sunrise? 1998 was the peak, and then it drops to 100 something here, most of the full field screen. Let's see these highlights here. Again, 2010, but it dropped down to 1800. What about here? 15, 90, 16. Look at that, 2016 holding. But again, depending on where we go, like the bottom of the elevator, see it's dropping way down to almost non-existent, because that is a very dark window. Okay, 14s and 18 here, not almost 1900, 1899. Let's see what we can get here with this 1600. I got 1611. And then let's run this back one more time. So let's go ahead and go into vivid mode. Okay, we're in vivid mode. Got up to 835, but it's holding at 801. 835 was the peak. Okay, what about the sunrise? 2218 was the peak. Okay, but then it drops to like around 2s and 3s. Fulfill. What about here? These highlights again, same thing. 2010, 2100, 16, 17, 18. It's about the same. Honestly, in terms of brightness, it's almost the same as standard. 21, 69, same thing. If I get the bottom of the elevator, see how it drops way down because that's a dark. See, let's get this here. 1688, 2000, 61. Not too different. What about the sun here? I got 1300 at one point in time. 15, 16. It peaked at 1600. 1600 seems to be about the peak here. 1330. See, it's holding. 14, 15. So, just wanted to do this in comparison so that you all can see how bright the S95B is in comparison to one of the brightest Sony LCD TVs, but just LCD TVs, period. We know LCD, LED TVs are for that brightness, if that's what you want. So to see this QD-OLED hit this type of brightness in firmware 1211, maybe it's just my particular panel is brighter than perhaps your panel. Maybe it's less bright, but it's bright enough. So let's go ahead and again, we're taking a look. I want you all just to see we're in standard, okay? So let's see what we're getting in standard. 1634 was the peak there. What are we gonna get here? 2390 and holding. Okay, now look how it drops down to 8, almost 1,000. What are we getting here? 1606, 1584, around 1600. What are we getting here? Around 2000. And if you actually look at some of 202, if you look at this full field, okay, if you look at some of the other areas besides the highlights, 413, it's actually within spec. Okay, 531. But then you go to some of these highlights here, and it's just crazy bright. 17, 1701, holding. Can I catch this sun? 1500 was basically what it hit. There we go. 17, 18, 76. What are we getting here? 1940 or something before it moved. But then 413. Look at this, 2. Okay, but then you come here and capture the sun, the highlights. So I want you all to see this. Let's do this one more time. And this time we will do it in movie mode in HDR, okay? Movie mode, you see it's HDR. Let's back out of this. Let's see what we're getting here. It hits 15, high 15, 1600, 3289. So it's definitely brighter than what we got in Filmmaker Mode. 3s and 2s. We come over here. Oh, what's the highlights here? Yeah, 2000 is definitely brighter. What are we getting here? Okay, 2344. So if you want that brightness, movie mode is going to give it to you in HDR, as many others have mentioned it. But see, then we come down here, 45, 8, when I covered the bottom of the elevators there. 17, 1809. Look at that, 23, 2400. That's crazy. What are we getting here with the sun? 2100 briefly. 2500. 27. I'm trying to capture it as it's a panning shot. What are we getting here? Look at that, 2268. But then it drops down to the 2s and the 3s and 5s. It depends on the window that you're covering. I want you all just to keep in mind this is an unofficial test. However, you see in this unofficial test that this S95B is plenty bright in any mode, even in Filmmaker. Okay, again, this is an unofficial test. I have to stress this because people just see bits and pieces of a video and then they want to jump in the comment section and jump on you and say you don't know what you're doing and all of that. But again, this is an unofficial test. This S95B is crazy bright. It's definitely the brightest OLED I have ever seen. We have yet to fully get some long-term tests out of the Sony A95K, but I highly doubt it's going to be this bright, especially based upon the initial tests that Vincent did with HD TV tests and a few others, Digital Trends and a couple others. So it's going to be bright too, but I'm sure that they're going to limit the brightness. That's what Sony does to protect their panels. But it's still going to be one of the brightest OLEDs, more specifically QD-OLEDs that you can get. But here, as for this Samsung, this is crazy. And you will see in comparison with the Sony LCD TV that I have, how bright this is. This is every bit of LCD brightness and every bit of OLED blacks. And that's what you want. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. If you haven't subscribed, I kindly ask that you do so. Please comment, let me know what you think, what you feel. I really appreciate everything. I appreciate the love and the support right back at you. And as I always say, until we stream again.